Being introduced into a new scene was very difficult. At a point, I was stressed out to the point I wanted to stop. You
Yeah.
see, one thing about architecture is that, first of all, it's stressful.
Okay.
Secondly, it is difficult.
Hmm.
Thirdly, it is expensive.
Wow. Hello, besties. This is your girl here again, Charity, and the face behind 360 Gram Deco. You already know that this channel will bring on board anything deco, and we also interview professors within this profession. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to speak with one gentleman who is doing his masters in KNST. Guess the program, architecture. Like, like, and if you already know, in my previous video, we spoke with one gentleman offering architecture who's in fourth year, and we looked through his works, and you and I could appreciate that his works looks top notch. Okay, so but in today's video, we are going to speak with one gentleman to know what the reality about architecture school, because sometimes you come across somebody and you'll be like, which program are you offering? And whenever they mention architecture, you'll be like, whoa, like how? Like how? There is this kind of whoa, hey. So you have to understand that statement to know what it really entails. Is it draining? Is it a killer program? Is it stressful? In fact, is it killing even students? So in today's video, you will get to know all of that. Okay, so here I am with the master student. He's currently in his level 600. Okay, so meaning he'll be completing this year, God willing. All right, so gentlemen, please, my viewers would like to know, plus myself, we would like to know a little about you. Like, can you tell us something about you?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Miss Charity.
You're welcome.
My name is Samuel. As well, many people know me to be it as well. So the many people who know me well,
Oh,
especially my class and my colleagues.
oh,
So
okay.
my name is Samuel Ofori, and as you said earlier, I'm offering my masters in architecture. And well, actually, I stay in Takrady, but for some time I want to come and stay in Kumasi because I've loved Kumasi.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I tend to be someone who didn't used to like architecture, but for now I've fallen in love with architecture. So I like everything design, I like everything beauty, everything buildings, everything construction. That is where my interests are now. And of course, aside that, I'm also looking at I have interest in um, normal real life experiences and real world kind of discoveries, especially when you go to the geographic side of the world where people go into mountains and big areas to explore the sceneries and beauties of the world. I have such kind of interest over there too. And naturally, I am a little bit inclined to God, because architecture runs with God. So anytime that I see a mentor in architecture that I look at, I realize that they attach God to it. So I'm someone who loves God too. But maybe that's how you can know me.
Okay. All right. So how do you say that? Whilst you were introducing yourself, you were like, most people know you to be it as well. Like, where did that originate from? Because
Alright.
it as well,
Interesting.
like, yeah.
You see, this kind of an interesting name. You realize that I would say it was not really known. Like I used to say it. It's not like it's a name that I chose for myself, but it looks like people chose it for me one way or the other. Just
Wow.
because sometimes unknowingly I guess to say it as well. And the reason why I see it as well is mainly because I've realized that, see, in life, it's not everything that will actually go on your way or probably will work for you all the time.
Wow.
But as you are going on in life, if you are able to declare for yourself that it is well, no
Sure.
matter the situation, you realize that at a point you are already declaring great things for yourself.
Wow.
You are declaring that things will be well for yourself. So one way or the other, it came to me that I used to say these things. And people realize that, well, that is how they can know me because in every conversation, like 2 or 3 times in every 5 minutes, I may say it as well. But well, we
Hey,
thank God.
this one there is like a pastor offering architecture.
Oh no. Sure.
That's so
Yeah.
nice. Okay, but tell us, you said at one spot you didn't like, you hated architecture, but currently you're falling in love with the course. Okay, and that's quite shocking. Can you tell us a little bit about architecture school? What is architecture all about?
All right. To dwell on that, you see, naturally, even though I've been able to go through all these stressful of 6 years, I didn't like architecture in the beginning because it's not something that I chose from the beginning.
Oh,
So it's not something that I actually wanted to do in school.
I see.
Yes. For me, I was actually interested in geography. You know, geography. You remember I talked about geography. That's where my interest was. But at a
Mm.
point,
So you wanted to become like a meteorologist or something?
well, something like that, or probably a geographic system operator, those geography stuffs. So I came to my sister one day and then he introduced architecture to me. That's also an interesting course. He actually did everything possible for me to choose that course. So when I entered this program in first year, I wanted to explore, but I realized that even in the exploration, it was still difficult.
Hey,
First year, most of our lecturers they are very good. They are trying to call your interest into the program, but you realize that it is still difficult at a point
okay.
because some of us we did general art. We are not really familiar with designs, building, drawing lines, and not really interested in that. So being introduced into a new scene was very difficult. At a point, I was stressed out to the point I wanted to stop. I
Oh,
called this same sister of mine who introduced me to the course that I can't do it anymore.
oh,
This is first year. This
for
is
real?
first year. Yes. I told her that I can't do it anymore. So we actually planned on how we are going to get a new form. I'll buy a new form to KNUST and then start it all over again because it was not easy. I could see people crying in first year. I could see people crying because they've rejected their works and they are telling them all sort of things that
Really? So wait, so meaning someone could spend hours on a work, then do reject every
exactly,
work
exactly,
totally.
yes.
Hey, even if it was me, I'll cry. Oh.
Well, you can imagine
Yeah.
people were actually crying there. But you
Wow.
see, as a guy, you want to show some manly things and things, so you will probably not let people see your tears.
I see.
Yes,
I see.
but that's
Oh,
a
but in your explanation, you were like, sometimes the lecturers try to help you. So it
yeah,
means that in the department, the lecturers are very good.
very good.
Wow.
Since first year till now, I've experienced great lecturers who
Wow.
are always trying to bring your interest into the course. Because architecture, if you are just trying to just do it like, let me just do it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be stressed out and then you may leave it later.
And I also learned sometimes these lecturers support the student, the architectural student.
Yes. You
Yeah.
see, one thing about architecture is that first of all, it's stressful.
Okay.
Secondly, it is difficult.
Hmm.
Thirdly, it is expensive.
Wow. So
Yes.
wait, kindly tell us the three main.
Well, maybe I can even add another one. It's time
Oh,
consuming.
wow. So firstly, it is what?
It is stressful.
It's stressful.
It is difficult.
It's difficult.
It is expensive, and it is time consuming.
Woo!
Yes.
For just one program. Wow. Wow.
Because you come
Wow.
to realize that since first year till now, you will be spending on every work you are given.
I see.
Yes. So at that moment, if you don't have an interest or a passion that will draw you to it, you will drop out. I know many people who dropped out while we were coming. From first year to second year, people dropped out. Third year, people dropped out. So architecture itself will consume your time. It will take your effort. You will have to put in more of yourself.
I see.
Yes. And
Oh,
if you are not committed to it or probably showing a little bit of interest in it, you will drop it out.
whoa,
Yeah.
that's unique. But what do you think is the main reason why students drop out? Like, why?
Okay, so the number one reason why I think people drop out is that in doing architecture,
Mm.
it is even difficult to get a second life.
Wow.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by second life is that in the situation where you are encompassed with architecture or you come in touch with architecture, you encounter architecture, it has a way of, or it has a potential of occupying you. I talked about time consuming.
Oh,
It can occupy you to the point that you may not have any extracurricular activity.
I
You may
see.
not be able to develop your social life. I'm telling you this because it is true, and many people have actually experienced that.
Seriously? Whoa, 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 whoa. Then I think if anybody out there who is aspiring to become an architect or want to study architecture, please, you need to listen to this because this is certainly like I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's interesting.
So you mean when offering architecture, you won't have time for any social life?
You
Wow.
see, I told you earlier that I am someone who loves God, and I'm involved in many other church activities and things. But the thing is that if you don't intentionally make time for yourself,
I see.
architecture will occupy you. Yes. So it's something intentional. It's something that you make up your mind to. I know people in my class who have actually made time for themselves to play basketball, to go to the gym, to do extra stuffs. It is because if you don't intentionally do that, architecture can occupy you throughout your lives. And then you will find out that that is the only thing you can do. That is the only thing you are capable of doing. Architecture is a very interesting course, and it is something that can drive your passion to greater opportunities in life. It is something that can even give you a broader view of the world. But if you are limited to it one way or the other, you will come to a place where you realize that you are not very familiar with your world anymore because architecture has created a few things to yourself. Architecture is a very interesting major. It's a very great thing. It deals with spaces, it deals with beauty, it deals with our environment, it deals with everything that will make us stay on this planet interesting. Do you understand? So, my advice that I would give to people who are actually trying to push into architecture is that aside the fact that it is difficult, I'm talking about expensive, I'm talking about stressful and things, you can find interest in it, build an interest, build a passion, and you will realize that it's not something that is stressing you, even though it will stress someone. You realize that it is something that you find joy in it. While people are seeing difficulties, you are seeing fulfillment. Do
Okay.
you understand? Yeah.
All right. So in your previous statement, you said something about dropping out of architecture, like stopping crap because of the stress and the torment you are going through. In fact, it's a torment.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
So
see,
tell us what happens afterwards. Like, why
well,
didn't you drop out?
you see, this is an interesting part of my journey in architecture. It shaped a milestone in my life. You see, I said earlier that I called my sister that I wanted to drop out. We plan on buying a new phone so that I'll come back to school again.
Hmm.
But at a point, one day I was in my class and then I heard it in my spirit that you have to build my church.
I see.
Yes. And for that statement to just come to me, you have to build my church. I realized that this way, it's like God is trying to tell me something. But I wanted to be like Jonah. I said, oh God, I don't think it's you. If it's
Because the
really
program was
you,
stressing
yes,
you.
I had actually made
Okay.
up my mind.
Oh.
So I said, Lord, if it's really you, confirm it.
Wow. Then
Yes.
indeed, the it is what didn't come just like that.
Well,
This is, I think, a man of God. Who I see.
well, I actually told God that confirm it because I had to get a confirmation to stay in architecture.
Okay.
Until one particular fateful day, I had this campus pastor who was also offering, he was reading quantity surveying.
I see.
So he came to me one time and then he said, Sammy, this architecture you are doing, I'm also doing quantity surveying. Do the architecture very well so that we can build God's house.
Wow. So it's like a
A
confirmation.
confirmation. I was like, what? Really? I didn't tell him at that moment, but I realized that this is God confirming something to me. So I just had to obey God. I
Hey,
decided that now, well, let me just obey God on this and then continue architecture.
I see. So mini architecture school is more of like
Well,
spiritual people, oh,
well,
because the first guy I interviewed to was massively into religious stuff.
okay.
And he also made a statement that most of the lecturers there are also into, how do you say it, into ministry.
Yes.
Wow.
I know a couple of them who are elders in their churches,
I see.
pastors in their churches. Yes. It's interesting, but
Then this program is really loaded.
well, exactly.
God is taking control of this
Yes.
architecture thing.
Yes.
Okay, that's so beautiful. Okay, so tell us, what were some of the main challenges you faced to be able to come to this end that you are in level 600?
Okay. So in architecture school is 6 years. You just undergraduate 4 and then extra 2 for masters. Over the years, I've experienced a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, a lot of uncertainties. For example, immediately we start using a laptop for our works, and you don't get a very good laptop that can support all the apps and all the software that you are supposed to use. You find yourself limited in so many ways. For example, when I started second year, even second year, third year, as a third year, I was not having a good laptop, and it was not easy. It was not very easy. Sometimes you have to make sure you finish your work early, send it to someone who has a good laptop to render for you, or probably to give you some realistic 3D visualizations and things. It's not easy. You understand? So at that point, you may be limited in so many ways if you don't have a good laptop, number one. One way or the other, if also you don't have knowledge on the particular software that you're supposed to use in the program. If you don't have a knowledge on that, it will also limit you in so many ways because you may have an idea of what to do to your building. But here is the case, you don't even know how to bring it to realization on your computer. It's also a very big blockade.
So that means that in architecture school, one, you need a very good and strong laptop.
Very true.
Okay. And must I know how to sketch before I enter into architecture school?
Okay, for the sketching part, myself, I didn't know how to sketch when I was coming.
Oh, okay.
But you will learn on the job. You put it that way, you will learn on the job. So as you start the journey, you may not be able to sketch very well. But as you practice more, you find yourself loving it more. And you find yourself doing very well in it.
Okay. So meaning you don't have to necessarily
Yes.
learn how to sketch.
Yes.
But when you come, you'll find your way through.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so in your speaking, you were like, architecture is difficult, is expensive, is stressful,
Yeah.
and what again?
It's time consuming.
It's time consuming.
Yeah.
Hence, anybody offering architecture hardly have a social life unless you are intentional about the activities.
Yes.
Okay, so meaning it's more of like time management
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay, but tell us, what is your advice for students at the university? Okay, students at the university and those at SHS aspiring to become architect, because there are even some in JHS primary who want to become architects, come up with marvelous building like Zaha Hadid.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your advice?
All right. So for those who are actually coming to, it's easy when I was actually coming myself. People told me about how stressful architecture is, how the fact that you won't even be sleeping in the night, how you'll be so tired and so stressed out. I understood all that. But you see, one way or the other, it was also my intention that I want to overcome these challenges. Sometimes, if you are exposed to the realities of a program and you have the intention to overcome it, it helps you a lot. Probably I've said all these things so that in the case where you hear me or you listen to this video, you realize that there is the difficult part of architecture. There is also the interesting part. Well, one of the reasons why also that many people come into it is because money is inside. They tell you that architecture, there's money inside. You can draw a building and then Charlie, you get a lot of money. Architecture is one of the courses that you can get a project, finish it, get plenty money and marry, get plenty money and buy a car in the same month. You understand? But because of that, people intend to come in without realizing that there are other difficulties in it. If you're able to embrace these difficulties and prepare and psych your mind to overcome every challenge and build interest and passion for the program, it will interest you a lot that you will find yourself exploring so many in architecture. You will find yourself finding progressing and profiting a lot from architecture. Architecture program is very interesting. And now that I've found interest in it, I know that it's going to profit me in this whole wide world. This kind of explorations that are being done. People are exploring various kinds of buildings, various kinds of civilizations, all through architecture. It is very interesting. I'm telling you that KNUST is one of the best schools offering architecture right now. In fact, it's only two, KNUST and then Central University. If you are able to find yourself in this school, if you're able to find yourself doing architecture, it tells you that you have a brighter future ahead. Architecture is a very interesting course. One thing you must do is that develop interest even as you are coming. Develop interest even as you want to. It's not enough to just realize that you have a course called architecture and because it makes money or it gives money, you're coming to do it. Develop interest so that this interest can overcome all the challenges that you are going to face because it will profit you at the end if you are able to go through all the challenges that it brings along your way.
Alright, thank you so much, Samuel Ofori, aka It As Well. Thank you so much for your time. This video has been very insightful. I've learned a lot. Okay, and I'll say God bless you. But viewers, my beloved, please let's connect to keep me going. Kindly like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment.